I was looking for a career change. So I'm an accountant by trade, chartered accountant, and I guess I was just looking for something that was a bit more meaningful, and I thought it was a great way to use the skills that I already had from my previous undergraduate and really make a difference in the world.
I really was drawn to the SDGs being very holistic, so it's not a siloed or fragmented approach towards sustainability. You're learning about multiple global challenges that we're now facing today. And as a student, I really wanted to do something where at the end of it, I could get a job.
So I had been a student 20 something years ago, and I'd heard that Massey was fantastic for online learning. My previous study had all been in person, so it was a real change for me. And the reason I wanted to do it was that I was based overseas, so I wanted to do a New Zealand course that offered remote learning opportunities, online learning opportunities. And the great thing about this course is that I could fit it around my life. I've got 3 young kids who are at primary school, and during the day they would go off to school and I could work around them or at night, so it's fantastic in terms of flexibility.
The lecturers were very engaging, interested, and in fact all the students that were part of the SDGs were very diverse in where they came from, so it was just a really interesting program to be on.
I really enjoyed the block course component of the papers, so I guess just being able to see people that we were Zooming with in person and spend, I guess, more than an hour a week chatting about our views and, I guess, getting an understanding of our peers and their point of view as well.
The year that we started this course was the year of COVID, and I've been reflecting on what that meant for a course that is focused on the biggest issues of the world today. And what was incredible about the course is that it really actually felt more relevant and pertinent in this really urgent time than ever before.
The way that it changed me was more in opening me up to what there is around the world. So it wasn't just a very narrow focus on sustainability. We touched on a broad range of different challenges that there are, also different perspectives. I think that was the most interesting thing about it. It was also very, I guess, confronting in certain ways to really reflect on myself and where I come from, the impact I have in my community.
For me, that connection to what was happening in the world today was incredible and really valuable. But more than that was the opportunities to even though it is an online course, we had so many opportunities to connect in person where we were able to. And for me, a big focus was around that practicum, that last semester. How amazing to have a course where your final semester actually pulls together everything you've been learning and puts it in a real life experience.
I enjoyed the practicum the most, so actually working in an organisation and reflecting on how they might be working towards sustainability.
Through the practicum component of the papers, I worked at a DHB, and I guess the contacts that I made there and the activities that I did during that, I think is going to set me up really well in the future.
For me, the practicum was probably the point where everything came together, and I felt like I was able to draw on all of those experiences that I'd had. Why the practicum was so good is that we still kept that connection with the team at Massey, so I was supervised. I had amazing fellow students that we were support for each other, and we connected together online regularly. And for me, the course, one of the real strong points is just anchoring it with people, that human connection. So even though it is online, it still presents lots of opportunities to work with people.
So the program has allowed me to see, I guess, all the sustainability challenges that we are now facing. So it's I would say for me personally, a very systems approach. So in the company and organisation that I'm now working for, it's not, even though I'm now focused around one particular challenge, so climate change, but it's seeing the connections from that with other sustainability challenges that we face.
Since I finished university, I've started a new job, which is incredible, and it absolutely continues this journey I'm on. It builds on my experience and extends my learning. I feel like I'm doing a master's every day in my new job. So I'm working with an impact investment company called Toha, and we have the best mission in the world, which is to, we're on a mission to cool the planet. And so it's to work every day with people who are similarly concerned, who have the same values, have the same concerns, but a range of different perspectives, a very multidisciplinary team, much like the students that I learnt with. We all come from different places, but we share this similar concern.
Now I'm working for a company helping them to measure their carbon footprint and also to meet their 30% reduction in carbon emissions.
I think that my study propelled me into the professional situation I am now. My study gave me that oomph, that momentum, and it fueled my drive to seek work that was meaningful. And I'm just stoked that my where to from here actually just feels like I'm continuing on the journey.
I think the program is really beneficial because you're dealing with real world problems. So even though you're working in you're studying in an academic institution, all of the examples that are given are really, you can see it in your own life. You can talk about it with your friends, with your family. You can see it in, the jobs that you're working in. You can start to make all those connections. So it was an easy program to be able to relate within your own world.
The level of teachers as well, like everyone was so different in all the different papers, I guess, from the core papers and the humanities kind of side, and then compared to life cycle assessments, which is very technical and scientific. That all of the lecturers were amazing and super supportive, and yeah, I had a really great time studying.
And one thing I would say about Massey was reflecting on it, even with COVID, with all of the sort of cuts, people couldn't move, there were lockdowns, border closures, a whole lot of restrictions. But Massey, because it is set up to do online learning, it felt just quite, we didn't miss a beat really. It was continuous, and it was fantastic to have that.
I definitely would recommend it.